Hello everyone, it's Shel C from PaperOcotilloStudio, and today I'm sharing with you a 5x7 mixed media canvas that I made this morning. It's Monday the 28th, and I know that I'm going to be doing lots of art journaling coming up very soon. Starting on October 1st, Art Joy of Sharing will be having our month-long art journaling every day event, and it's all about snarky quotes this year. It is called hashtag AG Snark Attack 2020, and the graphics will be up soon, and all the quotes that you can use for inspiration. But I decided I wanted to do a canvas this morning because I'm going to be inundated with art journaling. Canvas, not that much different than art journaling. Just it's more something you can hang on your wall. So I decided to mess around with pastel colors this morning, and I'm doing this because I need to get myself into it. I need to do something. And so I decided to do the things that I love and use the products that I love with the intention of working out some feelings that I'm having. We all are. I know we all are. It's not just me. It's not, oh, poor me. Please don't, think that I'm whining or anything. I just need to get it together. All I want to do is lay around, read my book. I don't want to do anything. I don't want to clean. I don't want to organize. I don't want to do anything. I just, bleh. So I had these scraps of papers that were laying in a little plastic container on my desk because when I go and do projects, then I just kind of forget to sort everything out and I kind of just pile it up for later so I can sort it later, right? When is later? Exactly. Someone needs to tell me when later is because I can't seem to get there. But they seem to be in colors of light blue, dark blue, purples, lavender, and these are pleasing, and I enjoy collaging, and it makes me happy. I don't know where this is going. I don't know. I don't yet have my intention set for this piece, but I was also doing the same type of collage on a little scrap of 140-pound watercolor paper. I watched a video this morning from the Lifebook Taster Sessions. They've got a 2-week thing going on where some of the teachers are offering little short lessons, and the teacher, she had used watercolor paper and made some twinchies, which are 2x2 or approximately 5 centimeter by 5 centimeter squares, and she was doing that on watercolor paper, and I had a scrap of watercolor paper, and I thought, well, while I'm at it, I might use the two together. And I did end up doing that, using the watercolor paper with the canvas. Of course, I'm a collage artist. You guys know this. I do mixed media collage. And I will tell you, 140-pound watercolor paper is not the type of paper that you choose for collage. It becomes very textural when you glue it down. But I did it anyway, and I'm not sorry. I would do it again if I wanted to. It's my art. I can do what I want, right? But I'm using the same collage papers that I'm using on the canvas on the 140-pound watercolor paper scrap. For whatever reason, I felt like doing that. So I did. I wasn't sure what I was going to make it into. I thought maybe I could use this as a card, or maybe I could make twinchies like the person on the Lifebook Taster Session did. I really don't have a lot of use for inchies and twinchies. I don't really understand them. ATC is probably a better choice. I could have made it into an ATC, but or maybe two ATCs. I'm not sure. But that's not what ended up happening, and that's the fun of just going in your studio, getting out your favorite supplies, sitting down with the intention of creating something. And I really believe that art makes us feel better. If we can get ourselves into the studio or whatever creative space we have, it's the kitchen table, whatever, if we can make something with our hands and let the intention flow into the piece, it makes our emotional situation feel better. And that's what I'm trying to do here. So I did some writing. Sometimes you can take out your feelings and you can put them in your art journal, you can put them in your piece, you can write down some stuff. Nobody has to read it. This is mixed media, there's layers, it's going to get mostly covered up, and if not, then it just becomes part of the pattern and texture, visual texture. So I just used a drawing pencil and I wrote some stuff about how I'm feeling trapped, how I want freedom, how I would like my creativity to come back, and I would like to go somewhere and do something and be something. And it would be super great if I could just get rid of all these feelings into this piece so that I can take a breath and get up and feel better. Maybe go cook something and feed my family and maybe go on a walk or something. Just, I need to feel better. And that's what I was writing about. Um, I was writing in my own handwriting. It's scribbly. And this is something to do. I know a lot of artists do this. They include an intention or something, or else they use a journal to get out their feelings. So then I wanted some cohesion with all my crazy piles of paper that I glued on there. And so I used some golden white gesso to just connect edges and push back some of the spots that were super dark and, make it feel more cohesive. And then now I have out some Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons. This is one of my favorite things to play with. I love these crayons. I have lots of different marking tools. I've got all kinds of pencils and water soluble pencils, and I've got scribble sticks, and I've got a few distress crayons. I've got Posca pens. I've got every kind of thing. I've got regular pencils, markers. I have alcohol markers. I've got every kind of thing. But of all those things, I have two favorites. One of them is Neocolor 2 water soluble crayons, and well, three favorites really. Number number two is Posca pens. I love the acrylic marker Posca pens. And then my other one is Faber-Castell Artist brush pens, which are an India ink. I can do anything with those, and those are the things that I got out to play with because they're my favorites. They're just, everyone has their favorites. You might not like the same ones I do. You might think that gelatos are better or whatever, whatever is better, but these are the ones that I like. That's what I was trying to do here, was to make myself happy, make myself feel better, get out some of them nasty emotions, and uh, just move on. So I used the color to add some color here and there, and then I dried everything with the heat tool to make sure it was good and dry. And then now I'm doing some more scribble journaling still. I've taken all the negative ones and I've put them on there in pencil, and they're pretty much gone now. They're pretty much disappeared. And then I put some happier writing, some more writing about having my freedom and flying away and feeling love and feeling light over the top of that in white. And it becomes, again, part of the layers, part of the pattern. You can't really see it when you look at the end piece. You can't exactly see it, but pieces and parts of all this stuff that go into these mixed media pieces show through. So the end piece doesn't look anything like the beginning, but yet it's all there. And I think a lot of people that watch my videos sometimes question my choices and wonder why, that was a beautiful collage. Why did you cover it up? Or they don't understand the process of mixed media. This is true mixed media. It's layering things upon things upon things, and everything is there and everything is showing through. And even my intentions are in there. They're there, but they're not necessarily obvious. And that's the way it should be, right? That's the way it should be. Now I'm using a silicone paint shaper tool paintbrush that's made out of silicone. It's like a spatula. And I am adding some acrylic paint. I was trying to keep everything super bright and light. So I'm mixing even my paints with some white acrylic. I've got Naples yellow. I've got some sort of light turquoise and some sort of light purple. I guess I need to figure out what those are so I can put them on the materials list. I've completely forgot about this step and I didn't put it on the materials list yet. Materials are usually listed below the video 99% of the time. I put the materials I've used with links below the video. If you use my links, they are affiliate links most of the time. Sometimes they're not if it's something that I don't buy on Amazon, but most of the time they're affiliate links, and that helps my channel if you click on them, or if you click on my affiliate link store. That helps me out if you buy, even if you just buy something like, dog food or something else that's not part of the art process, it still helps me out. If you use the link to get there, I get credit. So now I decide that I want to make a focal image to put on my canvas. It's all very much a background at this point. It's pretty, but it's definitely going to need either some more abstract stuff or something that's less abstract. And I was still thinking about feelings, and I was still thinking about how I feel like I'm trapped, I'm shrunk into myself, I'm curled up. And I decided to draw a figure. I've been really looking at a lot of figures, and I've been thinking about in the last, maybe month or so, drawing figures and making them say something by their body positions without faces or facial features. A lot of people just draw faces, and you can do a lot with faces. You can make them say a lot of things because, the position of the eyes and the eyebrows and the mouth really can tell you what that face, even if it's a whimsical face or an anime face, can definitely tell you what it's thinking and feeling, right? But what if you don't have the facial features? Can you still portray the feeling that you want in body posture? Because we know that we communicate with people by looking at their body posture, and we can tell how people are feeling very often by their body posture. This is just something that we learn, something that we absorb as children. What does somebody who is sad look like? They'd be hunched over, they have their head down. What is somebody who's angry look like? They've got their shoulders back and their stiff posture. It can say a lot. So I decided to draw a figure that's feeling like I'm feeling, trapped, closed off, sad. And I think I did pretty well. I mean, I'm not really great at drawing figures. That's not, my style is very childlike, and I've come to accept that I don't draw realistic stuff. I don't even want to draw realistic stuff, to be honest. That's probably why I don't. So I think that my posture of my person on here is pretty accurate. Maybe the proportions are a little bit off. Maybe it's too long. I don't really care. I think that it says what I was meaning to say. So I want to figure out where to place it, and I decide to make some abstract lines. I like vertical and horizontal lines. And I also used, and this is the watercolor paper that I cut this out of. This is why I'm saying, watercolor paper, not the best thing for collage. It's very thick, doesn't want to stick very well. You have to really be careful about it. But I also cut out a heart because I think the way to making each other feel better and making even ourselves feel better is love and light. If you can love yourself a little bit more, that will help. if you can love the people in your family who you are sick and tired of looking at because you've been in quarantine since March and you're sick and tired of them and you wish they'd go away, if you can love them a little bit more, you will feel better. Um, it's just a fact. I think it's a fact. So for finishing up, I'm still working on a little bit of coloring. I decided that I needed to add some more warm tones into this. It started out very cool. My collage was cool colors, not warm colors at all. So for the figure, I think it needs a little bit of warm tones. So I've got some portrait pink acrylic paint and some white acrylic paint, and I was just doing some highlights and adding a little bit of warm colors into my figure. And I'm doing that with acrylic paint and a water brush. You know, I love to use these water brushes. That's another thing that is one of my favorites. I'm still trying to darken this up, this squiggle area of interest here. It ends up being something that I use, but I do cover part of it up. Because this is a process. You add, you take away. You add, you take away. You add, you take away. You're working on what you're trying to express, and it might not immediately come to you. And don't worry about that. And mixed media is very forgiving in the fact that if you don't like it, you can change it. You can always change it. It's not permanent. It's not, set in stone. It's simply another layer. And that's why I always laugh when people say, "Oh, I can't believe you covered up that layer. It was so beautiful." Yeah, it was. Wasn't what I was working on right then, though, so it could be something else. So then when I decided to finally glue down my two focal images made out of watercolor paper, um, because I use so much water-soluble media on here, all that crayon everywhere, it's going to smear. And so I was being real careful about sticking things on, but I still managed to lighten everything up way too much because as I'm pressing down the Liquitex matte gel medium and getting everything set, and I've got the brush and I'm filling in the cracks, making sure that my paper is very well stuck down and not sticking up anywhere, it kind of smooshed some of my color, right? You can tell it's looking way too monotone. I decided I didn't want that part up at the top of my squiggly line because it just looked like something was coming out of the top of her head. I didn't like it. So I just put a little bit of gesso and then a little bit more color on there to change how it looks up there at the top because it's mixed media. I can do what I want. Maybe some more crayon, just adding some color back in because I do definitely need to add some color back in since I smushed so much of it away. So the rest of this video is pretty much me fussing with adding back in more color, changing color, but you can watch it because it might give you some insight as to what my process was for making this. I guess I do add some more stuff though. So right now that's what I'm doing. I'm fussing. I've got my crayons. I've got my paintbrush. I've got things that I'm adding in. I don't like figures or anything sitting without a base to sit on. That really drives me crazy when things float. So I added some more gray down and underneath the figure so that you can tell she's sitting on something. And then I decide I'm going to finally add in my darkest darks, which is Stabilo All Pencil in black this time. This is a highly water reactive pencil, and it's even more water reactive than the crayons. It's another one of my favorites. And I went around and added some of that here and there, and then I'm blending it with my water brush. Yes, I could just put it around the outside to make a shadow, but that doesn't look right because the shadow's got to be on the inside too, right? So I didn't draw over every line. I didn't, carefully make sure that everything had black on it. I put it here and there. I blended it, made it look more organic. Still trying to add some highlight where the light's coming from And I'm using that white crayon again, which isn't really working. So then I get back out the India ink and I add some of that back in, um, making light come from the heart because that's where light comes from. It comes from the sun, but the kind of light I'm talking about comes from your heart. And so I add some rays, some like squiggly rays with white India ink, and now it looks like the heart sun is shining down on her and bringing her more peace and more light. And so that was what I was trying to say there. I like how it turned out. If you've enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, leave me a comment or question below, pin this on Pinterest, subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, turn on your notification bells so that you can know when there's a video coming out. The last thing I did was to find a sticker that says, "Look around for light." And when I saw that one, I was like, exactly, exactly. We need to be looking around, trying to find the light in this very dark world. So that's it for me for today. Thanks. Bye-bye.